Good day, Biafrans at home and in the diaspora. Welcome to this special edition of Family Writers Press International. I am your host, Mary Kanu. Today, we bring you a critical and timely analysis that every serious supporter of the Biafran Restoration Project must pay close attention to. The topic is the implications of IPOB without DOS and solid structure. This piece lays bare the dangers that await our movement if we fail to protect and strengthen the structures that have kept the struggle alive. Please listen carefully. The Directorate of State, DOS, has served as the operational backbone of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, providing a decentralized yet cohesive framework that has sustained the movement through arrests, proscriptions, and leadership vacuum. Without the DOS, IPOB would immediately descend into chaos. The absence of this structured administrative arm would sever coordinated communication between global chapters, state coordinators, and grassroots units. Factionalism, already simmering with splinter groups like the Biafran Republic Government in Exile, would accelerate uncontrollably. This would turn our unified quest for self-determination into competing power centers driven by personal ambitions rather than collective strategy. The result would be a fractured movement, incapable of enforcing discipline or maintaining ideological consistency, leaving ordinary Biafrans exposed to conflicting directives and eroding the very foundation that has kept the Biafra agitation alive since 2012. Operationally, the lack of a solid structure would render IPOB vulnerable to infiltration, misinformation, and external sabotage by Nigerian security forces. Sit-at-home orders, diplomatic lobbying efforts, and peaceful advocacy campaigns, the hallmarks of IPOB's recent evolution, would lose enforceability and legitimacy. This would invite accusations of lawlessness and further justify government crackdowns. Resources raised from the diaspora would dissipate without transparent accountability mechanisms, breeding distrust and financial scandals that alienate genuine supporters. Internationally, the movement would struggle to present itself as a credible actor worthy of a UN-supervised referendum. Fragmented voices without institutional backing would appear as mere agitation rather than a disciplined nation-building project. This vacuum would not only weaken IPOB's resilience, but also amplify the suffering of Igbo communities through unchecked violence and economic paralysis. Ultimately, an IPOB stripped of DOS and solid structure signals the death knell for the Biafra quest itself. Without institutionalized succession, clear bylaws, and a codified constitution, the dream of independence risks becoming a generational footnote, passionate but directionless, doomed to repeat the failures of post-1970 agitation. History has shown that self-determination movements succeed only when they outgrow charismatic founders and build enduring institutions. Absent that, IPOB's sacrifices would yield nothing but prolonged marginalization. Biafrans must therefore prioritize structural reforms now, lest the quest devolve into irrelevance, handing victory to those who thrive on division. This is not a time for emotions alone. It is a time for wisdom, unity, and institution building. The structure we build today will determine the Biafra our children will inherit tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Stay informed, stay united, and remain resolute. Biafra is coming. God bless you all.